Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be, haven't done one of these in a while, so this time around we're going to be doing a kit build. So the kit we're going to be looking at is this Testors Ford F650 Super CrewZer that I've had for a couple weeks. So, and then, figured haven't built a kit since the Smart Speedster a couple months ago, so figured might as well do another one. But before we get into this, I'd like to mention how I finally got the shelving unit installed. So as you can see on the bottom row, these here are kits that I'm going to get around to building, hopefully making a video on soon. Then the kits above are ones that are going to be ending up becoming a kit bash. So there's definitely going to be a few things to look forward to. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. So I was originally going to be doing this as a live stream, but apparently since I like to record on mobile device, the channel doesn't have the requirements needed in order to do the live streams, which means whatever, but hopefully get to do one eventually. So without further ado, let's hear what's in the box. So starting off with, we've got instructions. Then when I got this from the guy I traded it with, the guy included some ads that he had printed off from 2002, when this truck was essentially brand new back in the day. So this is definitely something interesting. So there's that. Then, as you can see, a lot of pieces here are still sealed. Okay, first bag here, got small sticker sheet for what looks like to be the interior stuff. Then here, got the set of wheels. Got the double rears and single fronts. Then got the aero cab backing. Then got the interior done, molded in a nice medium beige. Okay, this bag here's already been opened, but looking at it, seems like everything's still there. Then here we got the truck bed, which here is pretty much already mostly assembled. Then you have so let me just get some of this stuff out of here. So this here, the back portion is plastic. Then you have the fifth wheel hitch on the back, which has already been put together. And then here, got some nice heavy stuff. We got the cab of the truck painted up in nice black. Looks fairly nice, with opening front and rear doors, which is a nice touch that you don't get to see very often. Then have the firewall, or that's what I'm guessing this is. Then the front cowl, molded in black. Then here we have, and for another part, we have the hood, which is also nicely painted up in black. So go on something like that. And let's hear. We have the windshield and rear. Okay, so we're back now. So this work here probably took about around 30 minutes to do. So for the most part, for the first few steps, you do the chassis build where you get the suspension in, or you get the front end in with the steerable axle. Now with these here, there's two metal rods you have to put in here. I tried to press them in as far as I could, which there's a little bit of a divot inside. So really you can try to get a hammer and gently tap it in. Then pretty much a case of just screwing it down. So there's that. So there's that with the frame. Then the engine. Then the engine here, pretty much 6 pieces all together, including the exhaust. So it's got some detail for the engine, but as you can see, hadn't been painted up very much besides the battery box and the oil or the engine cover. So there's some detail on the sides with the cooler lines painted up. Got the oil pan. Then with that, you also got the air. You got the radiator and the fan. So one thing with this, on the instructions it shows how the fan is upwards, or the fan belt. Okay, yeah, where did I put it? Here it is. So the fan belt. So the fan belt would go on, is shown like this, with the fan going through. Then on the next step, it's flipped around for the fan to be pushed in. But on the other side, when you put the fan blade in, it's actually on this side. It's on this side. The radiator fan is on. So that will have to get switched over, put onto what is now the front side of it. So there's that to keep in mind. And then with the hood, when I was looking at it, I found out that one of the hinges was bent. So not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but a little bit. There's some scrape marks. There's some scrape marks on it, since I had to pry it back in order for the hood to fit properly. Because when I had it sitting on like so, instead of sitting square, it was sitting at a slant. So that would have been problematic to get on later on. So that's one thing. That's another thing to look out for. Then here we've got the underside of the body. So got the exhaust, fuel tanks, transmission drive shaft. Now the one thing I did find with this is that it could either be the locating mount or it could be the rear pin, but it's a little bit too narrow for the rear of the drive shaft to hook onto. So that's a little bit of an unfortunate thing, but not much you can do about that. So, and then so for a lot of it, there's quite a lot of screws that the kit comes with, and with this you don't get a screwdriver, unfortunately. So I end up then I have this Stanley screwdriver that I had close by to use, but you pretty much use any other screwdriver, really, as long as it's a size 1, because that's seems like the only one that will fit. So yeah. Okay, now I'll probably get around to now. I'll probably work on doing the interior, getting some of the small stuff put together, and so yeah, and then let's hear how that goes. So we're back for another progress report. So now this time got the interior put together. So there's a decent amount of detail that already comes with it. Now there's the lettering on the seats, leather and silver on the center console. Then seats can be adjusted back and forth. Seats don't move. So there's that. Then got part of the body and the truck put together, and so far it's quite a heavy build. So just the front end. So we get the cab off. So for this here, as shown, all 4 doors open, and also has the leather trim. It's got fairly decent interior. Then then have here the dash, which those are just stickers, and you do need to make sure you have these here are very sensitive, so you want to make sure you have using them on a clean surface, because it took a while for those to stick, and even so felt like they're going to be falling apart. But got that dealt with. Then got the chassis and engine together, along with the front bumper. So now it's pretty much a case of just getting some of the stuff together. Here, let's just get the dash on. And so it's pretty much straightforward. The positioning for the steering wheel, not entirely sure about, since it's essentially on your legs, and I'm guessing you can get this down anymore. It's supposedly supposed to be angled upwards, but not too certain on that. So I got that down as much as I could. So we can go get this put in. Now, this is pretty much like building any other metal model. You want to have the dash slid in first, and then push back the rear window, and everything will just slide in perfectly. And there you pretty much have it. Got the door. Then you can pretty much see inside. And then pretty much basic on the underside, but there's that. And then I still need to get the flaring plus the mirror, the other mirror put on. So with these here, these are also stickers, but as you can see, they're not really the best of reflective stuff. So if any of you end up having this kit, I'd probably suggest using a chrome pen in order to get a fairly decent reflection, or metal foil works too. So there's that. And pretty much now there's pretty much a case of just getting everything put together, screwed down. Then get some of the small stuff in, as well as chassis detail. And hopefully can give you another update, and hopefully afterwards give you the full insight. Hey, so now, so this took me a little bit more time to do, but got the body installed onto the chassis. And one thing I did notice is there's quite the gap between the fender flares and the body itself. Now, I tried adjusting it, but it just kept bending the metal, and I didn't want to break anything, so I'm just going to leave it for now. But that's one thing to consider with this, and pretty much all things with every tilt nose truck. So then, got the back deck installed. Just need to get the rest of the underside done. Maybe do some little bit more detailing here and there. But I will say it's a pretty decent build, besides the hood. Then everything else just pretty much screws together. Everything else pretty much just screws together. And yeah, pretty much that. And then I did find, then there's some chrome pieces that I ended up misplacing that I ended up finding again. So there's some pod lights down here. Then there's going to be gas tank ports on the side. So haven't got the bed put together. I have the bed put together, but not screwed down. So pretty much works as a Loctite to keep the parts together. It keeps the parts together from falling off, since the only other way to connect it is for the screw on the bottom. So it's pretty much all done, pretty much almost there, and it's got quite the weight to it. And then up here for the tires, on the inside there's a magnet. So then put the wheel, so have the wheels on the axles, slide them on, and then they'll click. Let me get the two together. So like this. They have the magnet, so then can free roll on the bearings. So if anything, it's pretty good. Quite nicely done. Minus the hood problem, but not much else. Not really a whole lot else to talk about. So yeah. And so hopefully by the next portion of this, I should be all done and can show it off. So here we are, the final product. So just needed to get the last few things together, but ended up screwing down the entire underside. There's a few locating marks that were meant for a display stand that this, with the building kit, doesn't have. Couldn't really work out anymore on the gaps, so just gonna leave it for now and pretty much display it on the better side, which it's being this side. Have displayed on like this. So it's a fairly heavy kit. It's a fairly heavy build, which I'm guessing is weighs around 3 or 4 pounds, which is quite sizable comparing how most other plastic kits only weigh a couple ounces. So besides the hood fitment, I'm quite pleased on how this kit turned out. So who knows, maybe I can find some more metal kits, build those up more frequently. So yeah, then got the fifth wheel. And do I have any trailers nearby? No, but by the looks of it. Well, actually, hang on. Let me try and grab the car trailer that I've got to the side. So, got the car trailer. So let me just slide this back. So let's hear how it connects. Okay, so this truck's a little bit small to be hauling a decent sized trailer, but it doesn't feel like that the trailer's going to slide out right away. So that's a good sign. And then it's got enough room. It's got a little bit of room to pivot. Can't really get into the shot because of the size, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. So, anything. So, it's got, got opening doors, opening hood, rolling wheels, which not sure if many people like or not, but it's up to you. But so far it turned out quite nicely. Got a detailed interior. And yeah. So you might be able to find these on used sites, but on buy and sells, but I'm certain that you won't find these very often. So this was definitely something I was interested in building, and first completed build for the month. So hopefully with this out of the way, I can get around to these builds over here, and yeah. So until then, see you in the next video.